All right, a little bit about what's going on in the front of the pack, and then we'll move to the back and talk a little bit about who's in the middle and what's going on. Jesse Royer is in White Mountain. Wade Mars just got there. Wade is taking longer breaks. He mentioned to the insider staff that he just doesn't have the leaders he had earlier in the race, and the lead dogs are really, really important. Their response to the musher, their confidence in the trail makes a lot of difference. So if he doesn't have the leaders that he thinks he needs, then that's an issue. A lot of the mushers still have 4, 5, 6 dogs that they are confident putting in the lead. So there's that. The pack out of Elam that are on their way to White Mountain, Ray Reddington and Allie Zirkle still seem to be leapfrogging a bit, but there's a whole passel right behind them. So we'll see. Peter Kaiser's in there, Michelle Phillips, some other people who deserve to be mentioned, whose names I forget, and I'm sorry. But the back of the pack, the recent news, I just found out that Ellen Halverson had to scratch, and this Ellen Halverson is not a musher by trade. She's a musher for love of the dogs. She is a psychiatrist, and she has entered the Iditarod several times. She has finished it twice. She has the dubious honor of being the only person to win the Red Lantern twice. Last year, she was moving along, but much further behind the rest of the pack, and the race marshal withdrew her, much to Ellen's. She didn't think she needed to be withdrawn, but that's the race marshal's prerogative. Anyways, so she scratched this year. The Red Lantern is the last musher to cross into Nome. It's one of, I think it's a very special and really very wonderful tradition that, there's honor to the person who technically finishes last. It is the Red Lantern was lit on the trail to let people know that a musher was on the trail. So the Red Lantern Award signifies that the Iditarod is over. Mitch Seavey is going to win in a few hours. Knock wood. The table this is on is actually wood. But the Iditarod isn't over until the last musher comes in with their team. Now, since Halverson's withdrawal, no, she scratched. There's a difference. Scratch is the musher's decision. Withdrawal is the racer's decision, or the race marshal's decision. So, Ellen Halverson scratched. So now Roger Lee is currently in the Red Lantern position, and he's a rookie. He's actually in the U.S. Air Force and took a sabbatical to train for the Iditarod, and he'll be returning to active duty as soon as he finishes. He is still on the Yukon, and he is the only racer still on the Yukon. He is out of Nulato on his way to Caltag. There are several other mushers and their teams in Caltag, but that's the last stop on the Yukon. Now they'll be moving on to the Bering Sea. Most of the teams have hit the Bering Sea. Unalakleet is the first stop on the Bering Sea. And that's where the wind picks up, although, as I said before, it's been, or have I said, that the wind has been very, very calm. A lot of the mushers have been noting that it's just so calm in Shaktoolik. It's usually so windy there. Usually they're looking at winds gusting around 25 to 35 miles per hour. So this light breeze is just astounding everybody. So We've got a fair string of mushers there. Most of the teams at the back of the pack are either a rookie musher or a puppy team, and you'll see one of my previous updates is about the puppy teams. And their goal usually is just to finish the race. So, and to finish the race, especially if it's a veteran musher running puppies, it's the goal is to finish the race with a happy team. Now, that said, I mean, the Iditarod Trail Committee keeps close tabs on the dogs. They really do. And it's, when you see the dogs coming into checkpoints, they tend to look happy. Sometimes they look tired, but they tend to look happy. We don't get as much video from the back of the pack, because the film crews tend to focus on the leaders, but we can keep track of them from the race standings and the GPS tracker, and most of them are moving along at respectable clips, and what we do see of their dogs do seem to be that everybody is doing their job and being happy. We have had a few other scratches as time has gone on. A few of them, if your team doesn't look happy, you should probably scratch, and that's usually listed as officially from the Iditarod Trail Committee. The announcement will be that a musher scratches in the interest of their team. We did have one musher who scratched because he just was too frostbit to continue, and that's a possibility. If you it was so very cold at the beginning of the race that continuing on, if it got really bad really early, is just going to be painful. So we've had a scratch for that too, but otherwise people are moving along. I'm really sad for Ellen Halverson, but I understand why she decided to pull up, and I haven't seen the official announcement, but I'm sure it's also in the interest of her team.